Assalamu alaikum
wa rahmatullahi
wa barakatuhu. My name's Junaid Rahim.
My name's Mohammed Yusuf Bashforth.
And we're affectionately known as
the two white Muslims.
Now, whilst we might struggle to understand why, we're told there's three very good reasons. Reason number one,
well, there are two of us.
Reason number two,
we're both white.
And reason number three,
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, we're both
Muslim.
Alhamdulillah.
And proud to be so, would you say?
Absolutely
Oh
right.
my goodness. How long have you been Muslim?
I've been Muslim now for 27 years.
How long have you been white?
I've been 56, if you don't mind.
I've been
questions.
Well, I've been Muslim for 16 years now. Alhamdulillah.
And you've been white
I've been white for 48 years. Wow, crikey. Before today, I'm going to be completely honest, I knew the sign. I knew that it gave some recognition of provenance with regards to a certification that meat was halal. Beyond that, I would have nothing.
What I knew was that some work goes on behind the scenes to ensure that what we're eating is in fact halal, and it's the animals have been kept and slaughtered and distributed in a halal way in accordance with the sunnah of our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
The first thing that stood out to me was it's the entire chain that's monitored. I assumed that it would just be the place that we were in. So we were in a supermarket today, and you think, well, a meat shop supermarket, you think, well, I thought the monitoring would be for them, but actually there's an entire chain, literally from where the animal is slaughtered in a halal way, right the way through to that supermarket and beyond. So the tracking system even takes it to the point where it might be used in a restaurant, or it might be used in some other organisation. That chain, I find it mind-blowing, the organisation that monitors there, and the steps and the checks and balances that are put in place to kind of maintain this chain of provenance is mind-blowing.
We were invited into the butcher's freezer, into the fridge.
Yes.
And hanging there was the carcass of a lamb.
Yep.
Okay, and we looked at the labelling on that carcass, but just as importantly, we looked at the dye stamps that were stamped onto the body of the lamb, starting with a vet stamp. Now, I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that at all. But this is the vet saying, I certify that this carcass is fit for purpose. This is good enough to eat. This is appropriate for human consumption.
Yeah.
It's fit for human consumption.
Yes.
Then it has the HMC stamps to show that the animal's been slaughtered in accordance with the sunnah, which gives me a great deal of comfort.
Yes.
And then it has a label, and the label shows a number of things. It's barcoded, it's identified by a number, and it's a unique number. And when you look at that number, and with the app and machine that the inspector had, when you put that number into that machine, it gives you a history of that carcass.
Yes. Where it was slaughtered, when it was slaughtered, on what day it was slaughtered, at what time.
Incredible.
Where in the UK or in the world, but certainly this was where in the UK. The provenance of that carcass was way beyond anything I'd anticipated.
Who owned it? Where did it come from?
Where was it raised?
I mean,
it didn't quite have what it was fed on, but it was so close. It was extraordinary,
Might as well have.
It was like a passport for the carcass. It was extraordinarily detailed.
It was the identification of that animal from start to finish.
Yeah, and who touched it, where it had been. At every single stage, there's a record, there's a tick, there's a check, there's a balance. At every single stage that is monitored. And that really surprised me. I assumed we were just looking at the shop itself.
That's for carcasses. Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
That's for carcasses. But when you look at pre-packed stuff as well, because a lot lot of this stuff comes in sealed cellophane, polythene vacuum packs.
Yeah.
They're certified as well because they have a sticker on. Yeah. And that I thought any old HMC sticker, and you can get them printed anywhere you like. But no. Nope. Everyone has a unique number, which will then track.
You can track that unique number.
Now, I think the thing that amazed me the most today, yes, the inspection process was thorough, and it was a much more thorough than I'd ever even imagined.
Fully automated.
But what impressed me the most was the number of times an inspector will go into the shop where you purchase your meat.
Yeah.
I thought once a month,
Monthly,
maybe.
surely.
Once
No.
a month? No.
And you say it's 4 times. 4 times a month?
No.
No.
4 times
A week.
Unbelievable.
Plus, their supervisor will also attend on a weekly basis. So, in effect, there are 5 checks, 5 audits on a weekly basis, which is just astounding. But if we can also go back to the chicken, because the chickens were packed in boxes, and so you think, okay, managing a carcass and measuring the process and movement of a carcass is one thing, but chickens and even chicken pieces, the boxes are labelled, the boxes are taped up,
tape sealed,
and then the seal has a sticker over it. So it would be impossible for anything other than halal meat to be inside that container. And there's boxes after box after box after box, and the gentleman doing the audit checked every single box.
Yep.
And he was then allowed to open these boxes and go inside, and every single one of the chickens had a sticker on it.
Yep.
And you think, well, okay, well, in time, if that sticker wears off or falls off, what happens? He said, well, you will find it inside that box because the box is sealed.
Yep.
Incredible process.
If you want to be absolutely sure that you are eating halal, and as Muslims we all have a duty to be able to be sure that we're eating halal. If you want that surety, look for the HMC sign.
Yes.
Because it gives you exactly that.
Yeah, I've been shocked at the level of sophistication in this tracking process. So if you want to be absolutely sure that you're eating halal, look for the HMC sign. The certification is incredibly hard to come by, and it's well earned. So if you want to be sure you're eating halal, look for the HMC sign. I was very surprised yet again. The way in which the monitoring is completed, it's a fully automated system, but it's using all of the modern technologies that you would expect to see kind of outside of a meat processing and tracking facility. So the actual auditor is tracked because where this one was used by a phone, but presumably it can be used by many different media, but this one was used by a phone. So immediately it said which building and which organisation was being tracked just from
his GPS tracker.
GPS, that's the word I was hopelessly grasping for. The GPS tracker tells you that you're in the right store. Yeah. So it tells you there and then, and it has to input, and it's all pre-input, so click, it puts the date in, click, it puts the time at which that audit has started in, click, it puts the person doing the audit, and click, it puts where you are. Yeah. So, I mean, you've got to look at the other side. There's no way that anybody could falsify that information. There's no way that anybody could take that information and in any way, shape or form tweak it, change it, amend it. It's an incredibly sophisticated system.
I'm now fairly confident that I could actually do an inspection because they've actually made it idiot proof.
Yes.
And that's good for me.
Absolutely. And so it literally was a checklist and a tick list that went all the way down, and you couldn't move on until you'd done this check, and you couldn't move on until you'd done that check, and then you had to photograph the carcass, photograph the stamps on the carcass, open the boxes for the chicken, photograph the chickens, photograph the stickers on each of the chickens, photograph the fact that the tape had not been cut, it had not been opened before this check. If it had been opened, you went to the next box and you checked that one. So even that is monitored. So if somebody then wanted to check 6 months from now, all of that is instantly uploaded to a main server somewhere. And so we could look at this in 6 months' time, and we could see who'd done it, what time they started, what time they finished, what they completed, what they checked. You're checking via barcodes, you're checking via a visual check, and then it's all photographed and uploaded. So the level of sophistication was incredibly impressive, but the level of detail was incredibly impressive. You can just tell that there's a pride and a satisfaction that's taken from confirming this, every single step of this process being halal. And you could just see the utter pride that was taken in from the butcher, from the auditor. Everybody in this process, I'm assuming, is going to have that same just mentality and same dedication to the craft, which I keep saying it's shocked.
It's not just dedication to the craft; it's dedication to the dean.
Yes.
Which is what we're all about, really.
Yeah. The number of times you find yourself in a whether it be a dinner party or a meal, or whether you're out and about, and people will check the provenance of meat and where did it come from, and then they'll go into a place and buy it, and as long as it says halal on the door, that's okay then. My eyes have been opened completely. Would you say the same?
Absolutely.
Where actually we should and do all we can to ensure that things are halal, but this just takes it to a next level. So that the satisfaction and satisfaction is not the right word. The comfort that you can get from seeing that emblem on a restaurant, on a supermarket, on a butcher. Wow, the detail that goes behind it is extraordinary.
You just know with that poster in the window, that certification, that sticker, that stamp, you just know that you're going to get quality, and not only are you getting quality, but you are getting halal. Alhamdulillah. And
can we come back to 4 times a week?
I'm not being 4
times a week plus the supervisor goes. That's 5 times a week. Incredible. Every single place across the UK that has that seal of approval is checked 5 times a week. That was mind blowing, wasn't it? We were like, what? How can that be possible?
Do you guys ever swim?
And it's done with such a level of expertise that it's hard to comprehend. And my brain is trying to work out the process behind that. It's obviously a process that's come and evolved over time, and we're seeing the back end of this. But it makes my head hurt thinking
about the thinking that's taken place.
Yes.
There's some real joined up thinking here.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just incredible.
And what I did in my usual style is I asked the question, how can anybody circumvent this?
Yes.
And how can anybody falsify the information here?
Yeah.
And the answer came back, to my satisfaction, very loud and clear. They just can't.
You can't.
So when you see that poster, when you see that sticker, you see that stamp, you see all the certification behind it, you can just buy with confidence. Alhamdulillah. Mm-hmm. And I want to thank the guys that do this. Because without those guys doing what they've done, and it's an incredibly enormous task, and they've delivered, without them doing what they've done, I wouldn't have the satisfaction of knowing that I'm feeding my family halal food.
Absolutely. And we do take pride as Muslims that we, all areas of our life should be halal, but the main focus tends to be food. And knowing that these guys are out there making sure that my family are fed correctly, and your family are fed correctly, and your family are fed correctly is, alhamdulillah, incredible. It's brilliant.
So what I'm hoping is sold there is halal food.
Yes.
What I hope that for many reasons, not least of which is my personal reasons, and that's that I want to be eating halal food.
Yes.
So I'm hoping that they're serving halal.
Yeah.
But where there's doubt, there is doubt.
Yeah.
And that causes concern, and where there's doubt and concern, that's something that actually steers me away from those outlets and steers me back towards the guys that have the stickers and the posters for HMC.
And if I could leap in at that point, my immediate reaction to that question was, I don't know. And the mere fact that I don't know is worrying.
People are attracted when they see three full chickens for a £5. That's an attractive proposition, but it's also, I believe, a dangerous proposition, because you've got to think of where did that.
How did
halal is not just in the slaughter process either. So halal is the way that the animal lived, as well as the way that
not just the way
halal's not just the last 30 seconds of the animal's life. It's all the way through. And with these guys in the HMC process, at least we know that there is certification, there's surety there that actually this is fully halal. Alhamdulillah.
You can buy, eat, and feed your family with confidence.
Okay, so I think they'd have difficulty justifying the banning of non-stun meat in this country, because there are 3 million Muslims here that will kind of insist on it. I'm hoping that's the case.
Not just Muslims, though. I think one of the issues and one of the problems that we have is people might look at how, if something is slaughtered in a halal way, some people look at how that slaughter happens, and then they, in their mind, kind of compare it to something where the animal is kissed by angels or dies of its own accord. You know, they forget that actually the only way for this animal to be slaughtered is that it is killed. And it's the manner in which it's killed that makes it either halal or not halal. And that also makes it kind of, I'm trying to think what the word is, right for the animal. Do you know what I mean? And these other methods, which people kind of ignore and just assume that, oh, it just arrives in my butcher's, those other methods are really quite awful. If you think about, forgive me, but bolt guns and stun guns and swirling blades, it's a horrific prospect for any animal, let alone for ultimately the guys who are going to eat it. So we've got to consider what we are comparing it to. We're not comparing it to nothing, and we're not comparing it to things dying of old age. There is a slaughter process, and the halal slaughter process, to my knowledge, is actually...
It's kind of the animal.
It's kind of the animal. Yeah. So in answer to your question, I'd be bitterly disappointed, and I would find it's something that I would now have to fight against. You know, I wouldn't want all animals killed in the way that I have seen in my Christian past, compared to how they are in my Muslim future.
So we really hope you enjoyed that.
For the 21 video series, everything you ever wanted to know about Islam and the Muslim culture,
but couldn't be bothered to ask,
click the link in the top right of the screen.
Also, please subscribe by clicking the red button below if you haven't already done so. We want to reach as many people as we possibly can.
Thank you once again for your support, and we'll see you in the next video.
Assalamu alaikum
Wa rahmatullahi
wa barakatuh. Bismillah.